Welcome to the Our Team podcast, powered by eXp Realty. Are you an agent looking to level up? Are you someone looking to buy or sell real estate? Fantastic. This is the show for you.
Welcome to the Our Team podcast. I'm here with Stephanie Winter with Gabe Talamontes. Hi, Gabe. How are you?
Hi, Steph. I'm doing good.
Good. I'm so glad you're here today.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about some of the strategies that you've been employing for lead generation.
So one of the strategies that I've been implementing is I've been utilizing social media as a way to have some lead generation. Maybe not for lead generation specifically, but just for just to get my name out there and for people to get familiar with me. They see me. They know that I'm knowledgeable. They know that I'm on a team and everything. And so utilizing social media as a form of lead generation is one of the outlets that I use.
Cool. So that sounds like social proof. It sounds like you're building your portfolio almost of social proof. So as a real estate agent, as you're marketing yourself and meeting with new buyers and sellers, by marketing yourself on social media, it's almost like you have this encyclopedia or this arsenal of timestamp data showing how long you've been in the industry, really giving the social proof that you know what you're doing. You've been doing it for a while. You've been following the market. And then also it gives, consumers a way of getting to know you, like you, and trust you before they're even ready to get into the market. What are your goals when you're posting on social media? What are some of the goals that you've had and what are the outcomes that you've seen?
The main goal, I'm not trying to generate leads. Literally, I'm just trying to provide information to people, give valuable information. Most of my followers are around my age. They're in their early 20s, and not a lot of kids in their early 20s are buying and selling houses right now.
Perfect. So it sounds like you are starting with your warm market, really, with your social media.
Yeah.
And the people that already are connected to you on there. Are you going out? Do you have a separate business account for your social media?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, what's that?
Real Estate with Gabriel.
Okay, so Real Estate with Gabriel is your Instagram for business, and then you have your personal. And are you branding yourself for real estate on both of them?
Mostly, obviously, on my business account. When I first started off, I promoted it just a little bit on my personal.
In sales, they talk about, you can sell to all the people you know, or you can sell to all the people you don't know. Which do you think is the larger group? So it's almost like on your real estate one, you can expand your reach and kind of present yourself in a different way for people who don't know you, who people can just get to know you as Gabe the realtor, not Gabe the skateboarder or Gabe the kid they went to high school with, or Gabe the guy that grew up with in the neighborhood. But having that separate branding really sets you apart as Gabe the realtor and gives you kind of a landing spot to really showcase your real estate expertise and knowledge. Mm-hmm. So on that account, have you used that to network with other real estate agents or other local companies in the area to kind of build your reach as a grassroots way? Has it something?
Yeah, I mean, that's something that I'm open to. I was door knocking. I did meet another business owner and we followed each other on Instagram, but I do follow other mortgage lenders and stuff like that, but not too much.
Okay. So something that you can employ moving forward, because there's so many moving parts, right?
Yeah.
And there's always something new to do, and there's always something new to do the next day, right? I was doing my social media bio today, and so I was kind of looking at some other colleagues' bios and trying to figure out, how are they, what's the trend? How are we now trending our biographies, right? Because it changes as to how many characters you can use, if you can use hashtags or ats or hyperlink it to other things. And by doing so, I noticed my friend had some inconsistencies in her post. And so I texted her hey, you need to fix this. And I need you to audit my account now. It's we should do this once a month is audit each other's accounts and kind of go through it as the consumer and see where the holes are. Cause sometimes when you're, in the mix and when you're in the trees can't see the forest when they're in it. Is that the phrase? The forest can't see the trees can't see the forest. When you're too close to the situation, you can't see it. So It's great having that outsider perspective. So what would you say is the hardest part about social media?
The hardest part, trying to find more ideas to more content to post about. That's a hurdle for me, is trying to find the right things to tell people. I mean, I don't want to get like super in depth into like some things. I want to keep it broad and basic, so so just the average person can understand it. So I would just say that just content and ideas would be the hardest thing right now.
Okay. And then, so how are you solving that? Have you used ChatGPT
Yes.
yet?
Yes.
So how are you using ChatGPT?
So yeah, I use ChatGPT to find the content for me pretty much. I mean, I'll go in it and I'll just be like, hey, give me a 15-second Instagram post that I can post, and give me a script for it, give me an opening hook, and I'll just say, give me 10 of those ideas, and it'll spit out 10 ideas. Give me an opening hook and the topic, what it's about, and just literally a whole script, line for line thing that I can say for the post. So that's been huge for me. So I've been using that.
Dude, that's so cool. That is so cool. Just give me a 15-second. And it's all about how you ask the question with ChatGPT, right?
Yeah. You have to be very specific.
Very specific.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. The more specific you are, the better. The more I've noticed, the more general you are, the more general of an answer it'll give you. But the more specific you are, the more specific of an answer it'll give you. So being able to narrow down your questions is really going to help your outcome with that.
I wanted to ask you, I mean, how are you utilizing social media to improve your business?
Yeah, I've started posting reels and making more video content. So that's been something that I have been hesitant to jump into. I kind of ebb and flow. Like sometimes I'm feeling really confident and, extroverted, full of lots of energy, want to post a lot. And then, the last few months were kind of really wet and rainy. And so I wasn't as motivated to post as much. But I have been going to different social media classes, and what really got me over the hurdle recently of just trying to do it is I've been wanting to do it for a really long time. I've been wanting to, and I feel bad. And when I see other people posting and I'm like, oh, I should have done that. Oh, I could have done that. Like, oh, if only, I started this 2 years ago, then I would have 2 years worth of content showing myself as, a market leader, an expert, a knowledge-based person. But like every time I don't post, that's like one more day where in the future, I don't have that content to show off. And so that's kind of one way I started thinking about it is, hey, future Stephanie is really going to be glad that you posted this video today. You can always delete it later. You can always archive it. You can always take it off. But definitely, a lot of my fears are posting something incorrect information, or something I don't love, or a mistake. And it really has become a labor of love. Like it's a creative outlet is what it becomes. Like you have to love it and you have to make it a creative outlet. And that's really where the passion goes into it. And what I have to be is very patient, because there's such a learning curve and there's so many little details to remember to like put it together, that just remembering every little step and just getting better every time.
Yeah.
It's just the process.
And it doesn't have to be perfect.
It really doesn't. My favorite real estate coach ever, not my favorite real estate coach ever, but a really awesome real estate coach, David Kesey, once said, if you're in love with your marketing, it probably sucks. And that is one of my favorite phrases, because as like, a little bit of a perfectionist, it has to be perfect before I can go out, and better is done is better than perfect. But he says, if you're in love with your marketing, it probably sucks. And I love that, because every time I start like hyper analyzing or hyper focusing on like, oh, these colors aren't right, or the spacing isn't right, or I try to think like I'm a professional graphic designer and this looks like shit and I don't like how I did it and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, but what is the content? Is my heart in it? And is this something that people need to know? They want to know. Like, is this something that my consumers are asking for? And I just tell myself, as long as I don't hate it and I 85% like it, then that's my sweet spot. That's when I'm posting.
Earlier you said you went to social media classes. Can you tell me more about that? I mean, I'm kind of curious about that.
Oh, yeah. So I have a friend who goes to a really awesome church in San Diego. Everyone at her church is an influencer. And one of the dudes hosted an event. It was $30. And it was Cody Cottle, Accelerate Your Influence or Go Extinct. And it was all about just posting daily, just consistency. It's all about just consistency. And you get in this room of people and you've got these like 25-year-old kids who are just like, so much energy, first of all, so much energy. I'm like, wow, like it just dwindles over the years. I'm like, I swear I was 25 yesterday and I had so much energy. But yeah, your body just produces it differently over the years. You got to figure out how to like make it happen. But no, yeah, so that was really cool. Like definitely just going to that class, and like he went you through the whole process of posting. And that's where I really got introduced to CapCut and captions and having them automatically do the captions for you in the fancy ways. And that was awesome because I know you did a reel and you did the captions and you did them all manually. And how long did that take you?
It's, I don't know, probably at least an hour.
Oh my
maybe
gosh.
more.
And it's so insane. And it makes you feel like you have fat fingers or a greasy screen because you're like trying to get in there and you're trying to like get the tiniest little detail fixed. And like either it doesn't stretch the right way or it like, or that you drag it too far and you drag it into the trash can. And it's like so much patience. It takes so much patience.
Yeah.
And versus just, you know, taking the video. And it's really about just like doing it consistently and finding a system that's going to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I got over it was a friend of mine. I do a lot of energy and, you know, Reiki, breath work, things like that. And I had a friend come over and I was like, well, have you meditated? Let's do some meditation. Let's do some breath work. And she's like, well, how do I do that? And I'm like, you just breathe. You just breathe. Like, what do you mean? How do you do breath work? Like, to me, the answer was so obvious, right? Like, because I've done it before. I'm like, you just breathe. Like, how is that so hard? Like, you go home, you turn on YouTube, you find, and this is people like, anytime I say I do, like, oh, I do Pilates, oh, I meditate, oh, I da-da-da. Like, well, how do you do that? YouTube. You go in the privacy of your own living room, YouTube. But the difference with social media, like, how do you learn social media? How do you become an influencer? How do you get 100,000 followers? You just do it. You just have to do it. The scary part about social media is that you're doing it in front of everybody.
Yeah.
You're making the mistakes in front of everybody. And that's something I've had to get over in the last few weeks is like posting stuff and having incorrect information. I think I made a video and I was like, oh, this lot is 1.3 miles long. And I went back and watched it. And the rest of the video was so good, but I messed up and I called it miles instead of acres. It was a 1.3 acre property. I called it a 1.3 mile property. A little bit of a difference there.
Yeah.
A little bit of a difference. But what I've also noticed is that like when you include mistakes or purposely put in something that's erroneous or incorrect, people love to correct you. And it's not necessarily like out of a bad thing. It's just people love to correct other people, right?
Yeah.
When you see something that's incorrect, it's like, oh, that's wrong. And I did have someone comment like miles. I was like acres, but you know, you get the picture, right?
Yeah.
And it's almost like when you say something incorrect or you spell something incorrect, it gets more traction, it gets more plays because the person's brain is going, wait a second, did I see that right? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
And then they watch it again. So it's almost, again, 85% I like it and I don't hate it. Because if you're in love with your marketing, it probably sucks because you're focusing on you and not what's coming through you, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're putting your ego in the way.
Yeah. And I mean, it just, that creates more engagement. I mean, that when you spell something wrong or you say something wrong and then people are commenting, and then when the algorithm sees that more people are viewing your stuff, more people are commenting, liking, then they're going to push it more and more.
And I definitely, I can make one more recommendation because, you know, we get caught up on our words sometimes is I didn't just come to this naturally, right? Yes, I'm very wordy. I'm a natural talker, extrovert, but I've also cultivated those skills by being a Toastmaster. I was in Toastmasters for several years. When I got started in real estate, they had a Toastmasters chapter at my real estate office, and 7 a.m. every Friday, I was there for an hour and a half, giving speeches, participating, leadership, listening, and that really cultivated my communication style. And I would definitely recommend that for anybody, everybody.
Yeah, Toastmasters helped out with your communication and all that. That's great.
In addition to social media, I know you've been doing some door knocking.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And this is my flattery piece right here because I'm just so proud. I'm so excited. Because we work in the office together a lot, often. And you were kind of, what did you ask me?
I asked Steph Winter, as you guys probably know, she's a top producing agent. And I went up there and I just asked her like, hey, you're a top producer. How do you do it?
Thank you for asking me that because it was so flattering. And I was like, oh my God, I am the top producer. Wow. Like, and I'm used to like, you know, funny questions. And I was like, oh, that's a genuine question. Like, dang, how did I do it? Like, right. Yeah. You know, like if I could narrow it down to one thing, just meet people where they are, let people be where they are. They didn't expect you to knock on their door that day or call them that day or reach out to them that day. So that day, they're not ready. You weren't at their top of mind. But if you can be in their space and meet them where they are, and that's why we do the DISC profile, that's why we do NLP, so that we can mirror and match, and we can match our consumers' communication style so that we can communicate to them in a way that will benefit them the most. And so when you can meet people where they are at, it allows you to build rapport and trust so that when they are ready, you are that top of mind person.
That was huge for me, super beneficial. And also, I realized when I was door knocking, my script was coming off as really pushy. I switched up my script door knocking, and I just became more friendly. I was just more like, hey, like, not trying to get you to sell your home right now. I'll pass them a market report. And by doing that, so I was able to double my contacts.
Your lead generation. You doubled your lead generation. You got twice as many contact infos. Like you were saying, you were going out door knocking and getting maybe 3 emails, and now you're getting 6.
Yeah, exactly.
That's huge.
Yeah, it was huge. Yeah, I was previously I can door knock for an hour, and I'd get 1 lead, and when I switched up my script and everything, I was able to get 2 leads per hour. So it literally doubled.
That's amazing. And that just goes to the testimony of our team as well and how much we're willing to help each other, right? And like as long as you're in the office, you'll get your one-on-one answers. I mean, how long would that have taken you to... there's so many things you could have done differently, but like working together, I can see who you are. I can see what your communication style is. I can see where you're thriving, and I can see, maybe the areas that need just a little bit of polishing. And so having that interaction or that day-to-day, even that closeness, not even like, a real estate coach, they're awesome, but you get like a half an hour a day. Yeah. I mean, this is like one-on-one mentorship just by being on the team, just by being here, just because we have knowledge to give and we want to share. And then you come in with your high energy and your hustle, and I'm like, oh, dang, Gabe's out door knocking again in the rain.
Yep.
In the rain.
In the rain, wind, sunshine, doesn't matter.
Because you're out there for your clients, because you're out there for the people.
Yep.
Getting them the information that they need, printing the comps, letting them know what the values are, getting them real information, getting in front of your farm so that they're not having to go to Fox News, God forbid, or get their financial education from Dave Ramsey like it's 1977 again.
Yeah.
I do subscribe to his debt snowball method. I do think his snowball method is pretty awesome, and I've definitely employed it a couple of times.
Debt snowball method, what is that?
So when you have, debts and you're trying to pay your debt down, you start with, and rack them all out or line them all up.
Rack them all out.
Get all your debts in a row, list them from the lowest balance to the highest balance, make all the minimum payments, but pay off the smallest balance first. And then keep making that minimum payment, but put it towards the next balance once it's paid off. And then keep making those minimum payments, but put it to the next balance until it's paid off, until all of your debt has paid off. But instead of going towards like the highest percentage rate, he recommends going for the smallest balance first, because that's going to give you the good feelings of success, and you're going to actually see progress and feel motivated that you can successfully get out of this debt.
I always thought that you would just want to pay off the high interest debt first, just to
and that would make sense. But the Dave Ramsey kind of that's the one thing that he does that lines with human behavior, and it makes sense. Unless you're like a super awesome person who can just like understand that the high interest rate is, the bad one.
Yeah, it's the one pulling you down the most.
Yeah. I mean, all debt. We want to get rid of that so we can have a better debt to income, so you can qualify for more money on your mortgage.
Boom. That's how we tied in.
Boom. Also important. Well, Gabe, that was awesome. So if you want hands-on social media training or real estate training, and you just want to level up as an agent, definitely come check out the Our Team. We have a lot of resources to offer. We have a lot of heart to give, and check out our marketing, because if you're interested in buying or selling, we definitely are leading the valley in marketing and such. Thank you so much for joining us on the Our Team. And
hey, wait, before you go,
time,
would you do us a favor? If you found any value in this content, would you please like and subscribe to it? Maybe even leave a comment. It really helps us out.